Hello and welcome to a new episode of Connected from Home, where we choose to stay safe yet refuse to be disconnected. We connect with different people from all around the world, get to know more about them, seek inspiration, and have fun. In this episode of Connected from Home, we're featuring Bahrain Rescues, a non-profit organization focusing on rescuing and rehabilitating injured or abandoned animals. They also raise awareness on a variety of animal welfare-related topics. Majda Majid will be our guest today. She's the PR specialist and deputy chairman of the organization. Hello, Majda. You're doing a great job when it comes to saving pets in Bahrain. And tell me the story of the t-shirt you're wearing.
Hi, Haba. So this is part of the way that we raise funds to run our operations. This is part of our merchandise. We've got t-shirts and mugs that say this t-shirt saved a life and this mug saved a life. It's part of the few things that we do when we have people also contribute with their merchandise and give us proceeds. So this is how we kind of also help with funding ourselves.
Okay, tell me more about your activities in Bahrain.
Basically, we are a group that focuses on rescuing animals from emergencies that are in a life and death situation. We are not really responsible for just taking in pets. We don't do that. We're not like a shelter that just, people can drop off abandoned animals. Our pure focus is on rescues and emergencies. What we do is we will go out, we'll have people send us messages on our Instagram account, direct, and then we'll go out, pick up the animal, trap or pick up the animal, take it to one of the clinics that we work with, and they will, they'll keep it with them for the time being until it's okay to ship them to our shelter. And then from the shelter, they go into our isolation, whether it's cats or dogs. They're isolated just to make sure they're done with their medication or whatever treatment they need. And then once they get the okay, they'll either move to the cattery, which is behind me, or the dogs will move into their own section. The dogs have their own section as well.
And do you put them up for adoption later, or how does it go? They keep on living in the shelter?
Yes, of course, we put them up for adoption once we are sure that they're fully treated. We do adoption interviews through our Instagram as well. We have a separate account for our rescues and our basically daily activities. And then we have an account for our adoption where we go through kind of Q&As with people who we feel are interested. It's like a beginning. We start with our Instagram messages back and forth. And then once people pass the initial first screening, we invite them down and then we'll do the rest of it over here face to face.
Yes, to make sure the right people get the pets at the end.
Absolutely,
yes, I respect that.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so tell me what sparked the idea. How did this all start?
I like to say this is more of a movement than it is anything else, because it basically started with one person. She's our founder, who, just came up with an idea that there are lots of animals here that people don't necessarily pick up and treat, or are not aware of it. And she started an Instagram account, and that turned into kind of like a following where people are like, oh, that's really nice that there's someone who will, help with picking up and treating animals, because not everyone necessarily has the knowledge or the tools, or, not everybody is comfortable with picking up a cat or a dog that's injured. So, it kind of snowballed from there. It went from, a very small and basic idea into this really great, big community where it's not just us, it's people who volunteer by helping in the shelter, people who donate, people who just even have these conversations. So before, people wouldn't really have that much information as to the difference between buying and adopting an animal. And that's really opened a lot of doors for people to, pass that knowledge on to people that might not know that what they're doing is not the best option, or people who are, just not neutering their pets and they just keep multiplying. It really snowballed from one thing into a whole community and network of information, of people understanding what it really means to care for animals and animal rights and animal welfare. So yeah, just something super simple. One person started it and it's become this really big part of our community as well.
Some people are hesitant about having pets. So what would you tell them to encourage them to take one of those little furry friends?
Definitely, it's a very important part of a child's upbringing is to be introduced to animals. Some people are a bit, their personal fears are not comfortable having a pet. However, it really does. There's been tons of studies about this. It helps with children's development, especially children who are autistic or have developmental difficulties or challenges, sorry. It really does help them having a cat or a dog at home. Also, personally, I believe that it does teach children responsibility. It gives them a sense of more morality in the sense that I have something that is kind of, it depends on me, it's reliant on me, and they take that with them as they grow. So whether it's just having a companion, a lot of people have come to adopt from us, especially with Corona. People have felt like, okay, I didn't realize that I need a companion, and I didn't have that kind of feeling of I want someone to add to my family until I was stuck at home all the time. So we had a ton of pets being adopted by really great families that took this opportunity to invest in learning and understanding and adding another member to their family. We had like over, I think, around 15, and there's still people coming in who are very serious and very excited about having someone in their family as well. So yeah, it's not just a companion, it's not just, an extra fun member and cuddles and hugs, but it's also very good for development and for, especially for children. This concentrated time really opened people up to the idea. We had so many people who said, I've always been thinking about it and I've always wanted to, but I never had the time, I never had the break. So it worked perfectly for us. It was like a blessing in disguise for us. So yeah, great job for us.
Yes, and great job for COVID. At least it has a positive impact somewhere.
Yeah. Totally, yeah.
Yes. So how many pets have you rescued so far? Do you have any statistics?
Oh, rescued. We've had hundreds, but at the moment we are housing 21 cats and 53 dogs. We do also have a mule. She's kind of become our celebrity here. Her name is Martha. She was also in a not so great condition. We've had birds as well, but birds we don't believe in keeping. We release them. Or if they cannot be released, we have actually one of our own volunteers. He does an amazing job rehabilitating them, and he takes care of them. He's very committed to it. But besides that, we release all the birds that we find.
Okay, great. Do you want to show us around?
Of course, absolutely. Before I do, I will show you our other resident celebrity. Her name is Muffin. She's our little blind kitty. So if you'll just excuse me 1 minute.
Okay.
So this is Muffin. Muffin is fully blind. She was found in somebody's house and she was not approachable. So we had to trap her, and basically her eyes were badly infected, and then we discovered after the infection went down that she actually doesn't have any eyes. And she was doing really well up until, again, she had a very bad infection in her body. And she had to be on IV, and she had to be on a lot of medication, and she's quite small and frail, so we were really worried about her. But now she's doing very well, and she's the only little girl that gets to stay in our office with us. So she's extra special and spoiled. And she has the cutest meow. I don't know if you can hear it, but she has the cutest meow. She sounds like a little toy.
As cute as a muffin, really.
She really is a muffin. Yes, she is. Show them how cute you are. So yeah, and she just all she does is purr. So she's also one of our very special rescues. All right, I'm gonna put Muffin back. She doesn't want to go back, but you have to go back. Let me show you our cattery. Okay. This is where we have all of the cats who have been treated and are totally okay to go and up for adoption. Here is where the kitty magic happens. This is one of our oldest residents, Princess Leia. Leia's been with us for about 2 years, so I think she basically owns the place, and we all work with her.
You work for her, I guess.
We work for her, exactly. It's her place, and we work for her. These guys are also ready and up for adoption, but the only reason we have them in cages is because these two guys at the bottom, they've just come out of surgery. They've been neutered, so they need to be set aside until we can let them out. And these two guys on the top are FIV positive, so it's pretty contagious between cats. So if they get into a fight, they might, hurt the other cats. Yes. Infect the other cats, so we have to have them also separated. Yes. But we're definitely building them bigger cages so they're comfortable. And yeah, this is just our happy place. We always say that we don't care about these, we don't care about being like the biggest, we don't care about being the first, we care about providing a proper quality life for whoever's staying here, because some of these cats are going to be here for months, maybe even years, like Leia. So we want them to be in a good space and a happy space. So once the right family comes for them, they'll see them in their best form. They're not going to see them scared and frail and upset. So this is a happy place, and this is what we aspire to be.
It is. I got the positivity. I got the positive vibe, really.
Exactly. We want nothing but positivity here. So I'm going to take you in to our. I can take you into our dog section, but it's pretty loud.
Yeah. We're ready.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Let me take you in. First and foremost, introduce you to our celebrity, Miss Martha.
Yes, Martha.
Okay. Martha. Martha is the only animal here who doesn't get locked up. She's a free-range mule, we call her, because she doesn't like to be locked up, and we don't discipline her. Yeah. Martha!
We don't want her to be disappointed.
We don't. We do not want to upset our princess. Martha! Come here. She's just doing a little sniff around. Hi! Say hi!
Hello!
Hi!
Hello, Martha!
Hello! You're on TV,
so lovable,
Martha.
And it shows so much that they're not scared. They're just comfortable.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course. This is basically her spot, and again, her spot, and we work for her. She's just gonna start following everything.
Oh, she's coming with us right now.
She follows everybody around. She's basically a tour guide here and a supervisor.
Oh.
Okay, so I'll go into the dog section, but it's gonna get pretty loud. Just a heads up.
But what's the story of Martha?
Martha belonged to someone, but they couldn't take care of her. And they didn't expect that they would get Martha, and when they did, they just realized they couldn't take the responsibility on. So they, as you can see, very badly behaved, so they gave her up to us.
Okay.
Can we continue our tour? Okay. We're gonna go and see the dogs now.
Okay.
These are all Salukis. They're all purebred Salukis.
dogs look active and healthy. You told me all of those are recovering from accidents or, I don't know, bad situations. So
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
They're
There
all
is a process, right?
exactly, and like I mentioned, we care much more about our animals being healthy and being balanced than we do about just like let's keep them somewhere until someone comes and takes them, because it's very likely that they're going to be with us a very long time. So we try as much as we can to interact with them, to take them for walks. We have people come down and walk them. So it's very important not just to keep them in a cage and have food 3 times a day and water available. So yeah, a lot of them have gone through trauma. We have had dogs who they on the outside are not very medically ill, but you can see that they've been traumatized. So it takes a while for us to interact with them and to have people interact with them and learn and understand trust and safety again. We have a husky who was found in a really, really bad state, and he was absolutely terrified of people. He just did not want to be around people. He didn't want people next to him. Not aggressive at all, just pure terror. And it took like a couple of months after his recovery for us to really like be hands-on with him, for him to understand that we're not here to hurt you, we want to take care of you. And he's like a perfect example of what neglect can do to an animal.
Yes. So what's the most maybe touching story, or the story that affected you, or I don't know, broke your heart with an animal?
Every story touches you in a way. Personally, I would say my cat, because I have I've adopted one of the rescues. We had a cat come in, of course, because he's my cat, he's the one who affected me the most. He came in and somebody basically dumped him and didn't really give us much of a choice. They said, I found this cat. If you don't take it, I'm going to let him loose where there are dogs. And he sat in a cage for a good 5-6 months. And I was just so blown away by how this cat, who was abandoned by people, he was clearly used as, like they had bred kittens, and he was one of the kittens that maybe never got sold. So they were like, take it or I'll dump it. And he sat in this cage, and he was such a sweet and loving cat. I remember every time I'd open the cage to clean his litter or just open the cage, he wouldn't try to run. He would literally just come and sit on my lap and just purr there until I put him back, until within a couple of months, I could see how badly he had been disappointed and hurt, that I would open the cage and he just wouldn't come out. He wasn't sick. There was nothing wrong with him. He just didn't want to come out. You could tell that he was depressed. He didn't want to interact at all. Like, he deteriorated emotionally within those few months. And I just couldn't. I fell in love with him and I had to adopt him.
Yes.
So that is the one. That's the one who touched me the most. I took him. So yeah, but there's so many stories. I mean, I was just very attached. Everyone comes here and they become attached to an animal. There's always that one that you connect with the most.
So do you walk the dogs regularly?
We try as much as possible. Definitely whenever somebody comes down, we'll tell them to grab a leash and go for it, like go for a walk. Again, this is a super like open, happy place, super friendly place that we're not stiff. Like, we don't want people just to sit and, okay, let's just talk about what kind of environment you're going to put the animal in. No, we just like it to be organic and very, very casual and calm. And also keep in mind that everyone here, what makes us distinct from others is that we're all youths here. We're all Bahraini youths. We're all between like 22 to 35. So we like things to be fun, and we like things to be, it's already a very heavy thing that we do, and it's already a very kind of grim and serious field that we're in. So we try as much as possible to make this, okay, it's bad, but there's going to be a happy ending. It's not great now, it's maybe not looking great now, but it's going to get better for each one of these cases. And 95% of the time it does. So that's why, like, people come in and they want to just like adopt a cat and meet a cat, and we're like, you know what, sit down, play with them, have fun, don't worry about it, we'll be outside when you're ready. Cool. You want to get to know a dog, don't just sit with the dog, go for a walk around, we're here, give him a treat, see what he's like. So we really like to have people interact and have people have fun and get a feel, a vibe of the place and the pet that they want, not just, oh, I see him from a cage and that's it. So yeah.
Why would people buy pets if there are a lot of, I don't know, pets that need adoption? So maybe we can use this episode to raise awareness regarding this matter.
Of course. A lot of people ask us what's the difference between adopting and buying. And there is a huge difference, a massive difference. They're not even on the same field. Like, I always give people the analogy of, if you go into a store, you, Hiba, as a woman, going into a store and you buy a really, really expensive dress. It's got a lot of detail in it, a lot of handwork, intricate design on it. You pay like a huge amount for it and you leave the store. Nobody in the store cares what you do with the dress after. You paid for it, it's yours, I don't care. It's a merchandise, I give it to you, that's it. It's exactly the same with an animal. There's no such thing as a breeder who, oh, I really care who I sell it for. At the end of the day, it's a sale. Unfortunately, there are people who maybe ethically breed. I don't know how that would work, but they say that they ethically breed animals and it's not just a business. But it doesn't really work that way most of the time. It's very hard for you to ethically breed unless you're going to keep following up with the person that bought the animal from you. Adoption is different. We are not making a profit. This is not a transaction. This is us finding a home for an animal. This is not a sale. So, we have to go through kind of a tedious process. And there are people who, they understand, and they say, I understand your concern and I know why you're asking so many questions, and you, good job. And there are people who will go like, why are you asking all these questions? For us, of course, we have to ask these questions. We don't want an animal who's been emotionally and physically traumatized to go somewhere and not adapt and have to come back. We don't want it to go to a house that doesn't understand that there are people, our followers, who are invested in their well-being, who have donated to their builds. This is also our responsibility. A ton of our followers, okay, they can't do rescues, but they are rescuers as much as we are because they're funding us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be where we are today. So this is a huge responsibility. People think that, no, I'm buying an animal that is from someone who takes care of them, puts them in a cage. You shouldn't have to buy an animal in the first place. There are hundreds and hundreds of animals in Bahrain, in different groups, in different communities, that are looking for homes. There's really no excuse to buy them. Every time you buy an animal, you're encouraging a person who breeds, whether it's ethically or not, to continue doing so. So yes, it's very important that people understand the difference. It's also important for people who maybe have a fear of animals, some sort of phobia, or are not very comfortable with animals. Even if you're not crazy about them, have these conversations, have these dialogues. This is the first step. If you can't do anything, open a dialogue with people that you know are doing something wrong. So it's part of the process. It's all a process.
So what are your criteria, for example? I don't know, when do you know that this is the right person to adopt a pet?
We're not the judgy type, so we don't really have like set rules, but we like to know, we get a feel of what is a person's background. Have you ever had a pet? If you did, what happened to it? If you didn't, you understand that it's a lifetime responsibility. So we really just have conversations and go back and forth. It's not just set questions. At the beginning, in the screening process, there are set questions, but once we meet them, we're more of like, we like to get a feel of what this person is really looking for. Are you looking for a companion? Are you looking for something to kill 2 hours of your day with? There's a very big difference. So this is something that you can't understand unless you sit down with a person. You really get them to open up, and it's much easier to open up when you're surrounded by cats and dogs than it is on a phone call.
We're very proud of what you're doing, really. Very touched by the stories.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being with us today in this episode of Connected from Home. It was a pleasure. And I don't know, we keep on following up on what you do, and we're very, very, really, we're very proud.
Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure for us, and we're super honored that you guys thought of covering our story.
It's our pleasure. This is the end of today's episode of Connected from Home. See you next week with new features and stories.